Thank you for coming back for the third session of this Google Classroom tutorial. This tutorial is on making Google Slides. So last week we worked on joining each other's Google Classroom. If you are just learning Google yourself, it's good to grab a partner and join each other's classroom so that you can join as a student. You'll be able to see a student's point of view and you'll be able to see the teacher's point of view. Okay, now we're going to talk about completing an assignment. So this is from the student's point of view. At the top, the student will have the name of their assignment. There'll be a link to the copy of the document that you made, but down at the bottom, it says View Assignment. This is where you want your students to click, down at the bottom of your screen. Because when they click here, this box opens up. And this box lets them know that this is their work and that they need to mark it as done. If you've given the students an assignment that doesn't require you to grade it, they're going to mark it as done. If you give the students an assignment that is going to be graded, then they'll turn it in. So these are the two different buttons that you'll see from the student perspective. Mark as done and turn it in. Once students complete an activity, they need to come back into their Google Classroom to turn it in. So it's an extra step, and it's one that we need to reinforce over and over with the students because they tend to forget that step. So they complete the assignment, and then they go back and they turn it in. All right, let's get working on our Google Slides. You can make any document or Mimeo you have on your computer into an editable document for students. The first thing you're going to do is open a new tab with the document you want the students to do. And you're going to save that as a JPEG or a PNG in a backgrounds folder. Now, if you are interested in a tutorial on how to use the snipping tool, you can find that in slide number 7 right here, the snip and save as a JPEG video help. Click on that for more help with the snipping tool. If that doesn't work for you, you can always use this website right here, smallpdf.com. You can turn any PDF document into a JPEG. When you're working with Google Slides, you want the background of your document to be a JPEG. You want it to be an image that the students won't be able to move around. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to open a Google Slide. So new, Google Slides. And we're going to select this area here. And we're going to delete. We don't need that there because we're inserting a background. Now I've already saved my JPEG into my background. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive. I'm going to find the background folder. And I'm going to choose the document that I would like to insert. Oh, look at how that's stretched out. Maybe I should change the size of the page. So I'm going to go File, Page Setup. And now this page is set up as a wide screen. That's why it looks like that. So I'll click on the down arrow. I'll change this to custom. I would like this to be an 8.5 by 11 document. And look at that. Now the slide fits perfectly and students can click on it and nothing moves. So we've just inserted our image into a Google slide. Notice I had to adjust the paper size. I had to choose the background, and then I clicked Insert. Now I can insert tables or shapes wherever I want the students to type. So let's just say I need to circle the beginning sound. So I would insert a shape. So I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to insert a shape. Let's make it a circle. And I'm going to click and drag to make a circle. Now, here are my controls for that circle. So I can change the color. Let's say I want the color to be yellow. But now, if I do this, I can't see anything anymore. So I need to go back in to the yellow and make it custom. And by taking this transparency slide and moving it back, clicking OK, now I can take this and put it over my letter, and I can still see the letter behind it. So all I need to do is hit right-click, copy, and then right-click, paste. And I'm just going to line the outside of this paper with circles that the students can use to highlight the beginning sound. And all they would need to do is click and drag. Notice I'm not putting these anywhere on the paper. I'm surrounding it in the outside of the frame, and the students will still be able to work with it. And I should probably give this a name. So let's call it beginning sound. And this document is ready to assign to students. Now, if you noticed, I opened 3 tabs to do this activity. So let's see. The first tab, I'm going to use green to signify that's all in one tab. First, you make your background folder, and then you snip and save a PDF as a JPEG or a PNG. So you're saving it as a picture file. Now you open up your second tab, and in your second tab, you're going to open Google Slides. You're going to change the page setup. You're going to click Insert Background. And then you can insert table boxes or shapes and resize them to fit where you would like the students to work. And the very last tab is red to let you know this is the last thing you have to do. You still have to open a new tab and you have to assign it in Google Classroom. And so what does that look like? So here's my Google Classroom. I'm going to go to the Classwork tab. I'm going to click Create an Assignment. Remember, an assignment is something that you'll grade. This was Beginning Sounds. And I'm going to add from my Google Drive. That is where I saved it. And luckily, since it was the last thing that I worked on, it will show up in my recents. Here it is, Beginning Sounds. Click on that and insert. Now, if you look at the other side of that bar, it says students can view the file. Well, I want them to do more than view it. I want them to work on it. So I'm going to click the down arrow and I'm going to make a copy for each student. Now, before I assign it, let's make sure that this is going to go to all students. It's going to be for 100 points. Let's just say I just want to use 10 points. It's for 10 points. It's going to be due next week. And I want to put it in the topic for Wednesday. Now that this side is filled out, I can click Assign. And you can see Beginning Sounds is an activity that I just assigned to my students on Wednesday, August 5th. So the next thing that we're going to try is the same process, but we're going to be making shapes that move. So you can either insert text boxes or you can insert shapes to move. So see on this activity, I have squares listed right next to the name of an object, and the student is going to take the square and move it on top of the object. Move it on top of the object. There it is. It's important when you're moving objects, tell the students they need to click on it and get these 4 arrows. It won't move or it will resize unless you have the 4 arrows. So the 4 arrows will move it. Only 1 arrow, that makes it bigger, and we don't want it bigger. You can hit Control Z, and that makes it smaller again. All right, so let's just say that we took our JPEG, we inserted it as a background into our Google slide. Let's try it on the next slide. We'll do a new slide, and we'll select this. We'll click delete, and we'll go back and grab that packet that we were using earlier. Here it is, back to school. All right, let's look for something that we can add to our work. Let's add the letter lineup. We'll insert making it smaller so it fits the size of my screen. I'm going to catch a new snip. Save as. Letters. And then once I'm in my Google document, I'm going to click backgrounds, letters, insert, done. And then I can insert a table. The table is going to be too large, so I can resize that over to the side. And we'll make that, let's try 36. Let's try 60. And we'll also change the color so students know that they need to work in this box. And we'll put the box right here. Once the box is an appropriate size, we'll hit copy and paste, and we'll just move that to the next place we would like them to answer. And then again, the last step would be to open a new tab and assign it in Google Classroom. Be sure when you assign in Google Classroom that you check to the right. Make sure you're checking who you assign it to, what's the place value, and what is the topic, whether your topic is by subject or by day of the week. When you take something from your Google Drive or any document you want the students to work on, make sure you make a copy for each student. When you're finished with this activity, please click on the exit ticket and you can get a certificate for your time that you've spent working on your Google Classroom. Thank you.